Hey everyone, Connie here from the Daubers, and welcome to the finals of Shim-Line Saturday. So, I was legitimately shocked. I was quite shocked by who I've now got in the finals. So, Bold Boimler was taking on Nature's Tempest. And honestly, I thought Bold Boimler was going to just go the whole way. Genuinely thought it was going to go the whole way, but no, Nature's Tempest is the card that won that fight. I can see why, to be fair. Like, as I say, like, some of the comments were like, this just looks better as such. Like, and you know what? That's fair. Like, I think the split down the middle for the Bull Boimler was a tough one. I just thought it made really thematical sense in the sense of the show. But again, if you've never seen the show, you'll not know that. So, like, yeah, I can see why Nature's Tempest won. I actually think this is a hard one to beat. And yeah, like, because it's just the art on all the Critical Role stuff's so great. And then Wolf Assassin faced off against High Speed Dodge, and people did agree the Shim on High Speed Dodge, the top 8 variant art, does in fact look a little bit better on the artwork. I think it's just based on the position of the knee. So, what we're going to do for today, in the finals of finals, one of these two cards is going to be getting sent away and getting graded, hopefully, assuming it's allowed to get graded because the Shim. But I think we just look at this as what they are. I think both are going to get a 5 out of 5 on the Shim rating, I think is what we're going to do. And we're just going to show them off one final time, showing some of the more positive notes to the cards. And occasionally we might highlight a little bit of the disliking of the Shims, but let's start off with High Speed Dodge. So obviously this is the top 8 variant that we got at regionals. So the shim on this one, as you can see, is right down the middle, and it's going across the way. It goes right at his knee, and it's one of those ones that, as people have pointed out, it looks as if it's just meant to be there. It almost looks as if, like, I think, is it like Levi or something? It just looks as if they're like cutting right across this mess. Almost looks as if like that's like someone else's like cable going across, and it's just an absolute shambles. I do like this one a lot, to be fair. I think what I like about it the most, if I'm being honest, is actually the foiling isn't too interrupted by the shim, because it almost looks like it's meant to be there. In which the shim, I personally think, with the foiling, just gives off some of the nicest foiling I think we'll ever see this game produce. Like this, I don't know what it is about this foiling, but it's just so super rainbowy with the like all the just the different colours coming across. I just honestly just think this is just one of my favourite cards for it, and the fact that there's a shim on it as well, and I still would class this as one of my favourites on for the foiling, I think definitely gives it massive props. Massive props. So yeah, I like this one a lot. As I say, I think the shim could be seen as adding to the art rather than taking away, along with just the foiling being spectacular. I think also it's one of those ones that the foiling is doing like some heavy lifting on this kind of card, down to the fact that it's on this or just sort of grey and whites. So like I can see that with obviously the purple for Levi. I'm assuming this is Levi. Somebody will correct me if this ends up being like Erin or something, but I think it's Levi. But yeah, I very much like this card. I think this is a very good one. And as I say, for the sake of this final episode, before we get a winner next week when we announce it, I am going to give this 5 Shim stars out of 5 Shim stars. I think that's only fair that I show as much bias as possible. So yeah, we're going to go with that one. Then we move on to the contender of contenders, something that I did not think would happen, but Critical Role art seems to just be absolutely dominating. I think the art for the Critical Role set itself might actually be the best art we'll ever get. I think the fact they ended up with like 30 something artists or something. It was some mad number for all the arts and everything like that, all the alt arts and stuff. So like you can see where just absolute painstaking effort has went into making sure this stuff's right. And then, as I say, now we get the shim. Now again, I honestly don't think this shim necessarily interrupts the art either, to be quite fair. I would say this one's more noticeable because it's out there into the middle between the staff and like the horns and stuff. But I don't think it interrupts the art. I think I even said that in a previous episode, that I don't think the art's too much interrupted by where it is as such. Like, I think if it cut through any other part of, is it Keyleth? I think if it cut through any more part of her, like if it went through her face or through the staff, yeah, I think then we might have had a slightly different trajectory. But this one just happens to be perfectly going down the one spot that has literally no real play in the art as such. But this is cool. As I say, this one as well. The foiling again, the foiling is good on this one as well, to be fair. Like, I definitely like it. I think it doesn't look as vibrant as High Speed Dodges, but I think that's just because there's more colour on this, so your eyes are taken away from it just a tiny bit. But I like both. I like both. I think this will be this was not the finals that I thought we were going to see. I definitely thought Bo Boimler was going to make the finals for sure. I thought that was going to be it, but I think the fact that he hit Nature's Tempest in the semi-finals, you can just see the difference of like how much great art will most definitely carry a card through, and also the fact that the Shim's not in like a worse spot as such. I think, yeah, I can see why it lost as such. But yeah, I think Nature's Tempest, very, very cool card. I think it is very cool. But let's line both of these up together. So we have both cards next to each other. Obviously, we have two different angles that the Shims are going in. And ultimately, it is up to you, the viewers at home, to vote for one last time on all of the applicable places. As I say, we post this up on YouTube as a full video. We then post the short, which will go live on the Sunday. Both of those, comment on either one of them or both of them. Go for it mental. Comment multiple times. And then wherever we post the links for this, you can also comment there as well. Other than maybe like the Discord. But again, we could possibly even say react like to some way to that form as well. Just make sure your voice is heard. One of these two cards is actually going to be getting sent away and submitted to probably PSA to get graded. Hopefully it can get graded. Hopefully the Shim doesn't cause any issues with it. But we will see if it comes back a 10. I've heard from the grapevines that apparently these Shims haven't stopped things getting a 10. But then I've also definitely heard people saying that they have most definitely been impacted for having a Shim. We will have to see if one of these two can get a 10 as such. One of them will definitely be getting submitted, and it'll be curious to see what the result comes back as. But as I say, you've got to make your votes put in, and then one last week, this is it, and then we will have a winner. And then Shim-Line Saturdays will be slightly changing format from a tournament based format to more of just a showcase of cards going forward. I think it's going to be the plan, so don't be worrying about our Shim-Line Saturdays. You'll still hear the tune every week, and we will still have more stuff. Apparently by the time Godzilla comes out, we're meant to see less and less Shims, so we'll be interested to see how long we can keep this going. But otherwise, very happy with where everything's been. There's obviously been a couple of times I've had to postpone this, so it could have actually been finished sooner. But we're here now, we're finishing it off, and as I say, one last voting session, and I'll see you all next week to crown the winner of Season 1 Shim-Line Saturdays. Catch you later on, everyone.